I trust all of you can hear me.
Yes, Niroshi, we can hear you.
Great. Good evening. On behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka, I would like to welcome you to the first webinar of the webinar series of the role of the CA as a Chief Value Officer organized by the CPD unit at CA Sri Lanka. So today's speaker is known to all of you, and you will not see this gentleman without a big smile at any given time. So our speaker for this evening is Mr. Nuwan Vitanage, a prominent finance professional in Sri Lanka. He serves as the Chief Financial Officer of SoftLogic Life Insurance PLC, and he's a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka and a member of the Certified Management Accountants of Sri Lanka. He counts for over 16 years of management experience in fields of strategy, finance, audit, and general management. So we have allocated a time towards the end for the questions and comments of the audience. So therefore, please type your questions in the Q&A or the chat option for the convenience of the speaker. So without a further delay, I would like to invite Nuwan to take over. Nuwan, over to you.
Thank you, Niroshi, for your kind introduction. So I think let me share my presentation first. Kavisha, hopefully you can see the presentation deck.
Yes, sir, we can see.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much again, Niroshi, for your kind introduction. So nobody in the world believes that COVID-19 cannot kill you, but accountant can kill you. When I met one of the highest ranking person in the corporate world, he told me one day, nowadays most of the young chartered accountants struggling to come out from their ranks to shine as leaders. He went into the next line and said further, he don't see strong leadership potential from young chartered accountants. While I strongly disagree with that statement, I strongly believe each and every one of you all are having great potential to become great leaders. With that note, good evening everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Today, my objective is to give you some guidance to these three questions. First question is, how accountant can kill you through potential? Second one, what is the potential of yours? And finally, to show you some activities or pathway to reach to true potential. Today, I have objective. That objective is to take you or make you trusted advisor in your company. So what it means, you can be chief value creator of your company or chief strategic thinker of your company. I'm pretty sure end of this presentation, you will learn guaranteed formula that will take you to top 1% of our profession in the near future. Actually, when I meet one of the CEO, he told, surprisingly, nowadays chartered accountants, nothing different to messengers. I asked, why you say so? he told, one, they are very good to tell what is in the paper, what has happened to the numbers. So, which himself felt job scope is nothing different to messenger, which struck in my mind very hard. When I went to the office and thought, why he told like that, and most of the times why we are really busy. Let's find out what we do most of the times. First item is all about financial reporting. That's bread and butter that we do day in and day out. But as you know, if you browse your internet, so one of the top rank most disappearing profession is accountant. It's traditional accountant job. As you very much aware, most of the companies now fully equipped with the sophisticated accounting systems, which are capable enough to generate financial statements, which including illustrative disclosures. So, if we think about what is the value we can create in that function, that is limited. Let's see what is the second most activity we get engaged. I'm pretty sure audience here, day in and day out, we communicate our monthly financial results with nice various analysis to management. Most of the times, we tend to do our job like reporter on this angle. How I see, we are very good to tell using graph, using different dimensions, what has happened. However, there are very few gentlemen who explain what needs to be done and how needs to be done. So therefore, value creation again somewhat question. What is the third thing? Corporate plan. This is nice one. Sometimes I feel this is like a teledrama. What is happening in teledrama is that actors acting or telling stories which are owned by others like themselves. The planning also, most of the time, we tend to do, we collect information from sales or other divisions and create nice stories, taking from the stories from sales and other departments and present to management and board like our own story. If we critically analyze and think about space or value creation we created in that process, again questionable. I think while you all are listening to my presentation, think about yourself critically on these each and every point. Fourth one. We tend to rely on auditors too much. I'm pretty sure my audit colleague might not unhappy to tell this. I'm addressing this one, especially on the corporate world, our finance professionals. Remember, accounting standards are principle-based, not rule-based. I still remember some time back when I throw accounting problem to my technical team. They were used to come up with either reproduction of accounting paragraph, or they just call to auditor and find out what is the solution for that problem. Rather, they analyze in detail what is that problem in the context of their own business model or business environment, and find out the solution. Just rely on something on which is applied somewhere else. Again, I'm telling accounting standards are there to analyze the issue considering on business models, not based on general solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, ask from yourself, what is the value you create in your company by doing all these? Critically analyze and think. I have some mentors in my life. I still remember one day my mentor told, Nuan, I believe something in you, but traditional accountant mindset might kill your true potential. Always remember, knowledge is of no value unless you practice it. May I come up with nice example and story from my life? I'm pretty sure some of interpretation committee members also might hear this presentation. In year 2020, you might remember during the first lockdown period, there was a drastic reduction happen in the risk-free yield curve, roughly around 700 to 900 basis points within very few months. As you might sometimes aware, life insurance business is a long-term business where we value long-term actuarial cash flow using risk-free yield curve derived from treasury bond quotes. What has happened was, until such time, we straightly derive this risk-free yield curve using the quotes of treasury bonds, spot treasury bonds, without considering characteristics of cash flows. That means our policyholder cash flows, nothing that is not directly equal same liquidity level as asset cash flow. Neither duration, neither same liquidity level. Until such time, over the last 10 years, it was the practice. What has happened? If somebody is value 10 to 20 years cash flow, if we apply discount rate reduction 700 or 900 basis points, you can imagine what kind of impact that creates P&L balance sheet. My argument was that doesn't reflect true and fair view of financial statement. When I brought this issue to interpretation committee, I'm also from one of the audit firm, KPMG. So my supervisor was there and a lot of big giants were there. when I write the initial paper, just simply went out of the window. I didn't discourage. I took almost 3 to 4 weeks and did my research, browsing all over the place, reading actuarial research articles, and draft detailed comprehensive research paper and submitted to interpretation committee again. After having 6 or 7 months detailed deliberation, finally, CA Sri Lanka issued guidance note on this. Why I say so, this story, sometimes being the industry, we know business model than anybody else. That we should believe. So it's our responsibility to show technical people in our business models what is the most relevant, most appropriate accounting treatment. Where technical angle, they might not see real business model requirements. So I shared the story to say how we need to apply accounting standards in relevant to the business model where we operate. So with that note, ladies and gentlemen, so far I have talked about how traditional accountants' mindset can kill true potential of chartered accountants. Let's find out why this has happened. For everything, there's a reason. That is second question I'm trying to answer. First point is that sometimes we kept back our dreams and try to live life safe. One of the powerful lie I ever heard is that education can make you successful. Most of the time, traditional education does to us is that we tend to work in very thin silos because we feel that is comfortable. We try to master one thing and work in thin silos over and over because we feel that is safe. Everyone have dreams, but when we try to work, we expect comfortable or safe life. In my life, I believe if you have a dream, we need to chase it, no matter what it makes. Remember, ordinary effort only give ordinary result. Let's see what is the second cause created on this fear for change. Many times it's our inner voice act as a barrier to change our life. Therefore, we sometimes tend to stick to same place, same work, without questioning ourselves or without stretching ourselves. Because we fear for change. From my experience, I always believe that life begins where fear ends. We need to take our initial actions. We need to move out from our comfortable zone. Then only we can reach to our dream. Third point. This is most important thing being chartered accountant. Sometimes we tend to underestimate our potential. Sometimes we don't showcase our true potential. We tend to do same thing which are done by some other person which doesn't have qualification of chartered accountant. Remember, chartered accountant is not a typical education output. You have gone through most rigorous exam series. You have gone through 3 to 4 years robust and systematic training exposure. Therefore, I personally believe chartered accountant is disciplined and they can see 360 view of the business and they can link organization value creation story better than anybody else. So you are the pilot. Therefore, I believe that sky is limit for chartered accountant. So friends, now you know what caused you to kill your true potential. With that note, I'm going to introduce you groundbreaking formula to create great value within yourself. I'm sure this formula will change your life as well as the way in which you are looking into matters and create tremendous momentum in your life. I can personally tell you, this helped me to change myself. Let's see what is that. Okay, I think before that I missed one thing. This is very important. Last point that was think about more traditional way. Sometimes we are not willing to give up our responsibilities. This is very important thing. We should be able to give up the things. Sometimes being the assistant manager, when we promote a manager, we tend to carry same thing. We become overloaded. So we should be able to give up the things and think about next level always. Okay, so coming back to formula. This is the formula I think I would like to introduce you all. Only 5 things, nothing more, nothing less. First thing you should know your business model very well. Remember, you should know business model very well. Someone is working in the company over 20 years. If you don't know your business really well, that is shame. I will come back to details on each and every point. Second point is be simple and see simple. Third one, take charge of your schedule. Fourth one is all about great team. Final, fifth point is you need to enjoy your life and you live your life. Let's move on to the details. Ladies and gentlemen, to understand the business model, you need to understand 4 things. First one, value drivers. Second one, customer value propositions. Third one, industry. You should know industry you are in, both local as well as global as well. In detail, you have to be relevant as well. Doesn't matter how well you know your value drivers, how well you know customer value propositions, how well you know industry. You should know ground level reality in your business. You can produce master budget in your Excel model, but if those are not working in reality, when it comes to the sales angle or somewhere else, you cannot achieve your objective. You cannot take the rational decisions. You might wonder how you can grow your understanding about business models. Hopefully, those who are engaged in the stock market some time back, one of the famous stock we had is Bill. I'm not sure whether that is famous now. So you need to remember Bill to understand your business model. What does it stand? First one, you need to break down your income statement into major streams. Each stream, you need to understand what are the key value drivers, what are the key customer value propositions, what are the key industry trends impact on each streams, and what are the key ground level realities impact on these ones. Second one, you need to invest. So everything you need to invest your time. What does stand for L? LinkedIn is your learning partner. Not only LinkedIn. I think this seminar organized by CPD, being the professional, being the member of Chartered Accountants, we are given free platform, that is CPD. Institute organize many timely sessions in various streams. So given the platform, this is not a mandatory requirement. It's all about being the CFO. I know how valuable these programs, because those programs help us to elevate ourselves or keep update ourselves without much effort. What is the benefit I am getting? What is the benefit you all are getting is that you are very closer to create values in your respective organization. That is not a mandatory requirement. Sometimes members feel this is a mandatory requirement. Yes, that is mandatory requirement, but benefit I see is that when we go through, we will be updated. That helps us to discharge our duty more meaningful way, more impactful way than anybody else. Second point you need to do is be simple and say simply. This is very important point I really practice. On my personal note, I always try to understand things simple way. I strongly believe every complicated logic has simple thing. When somebody is coming into my cubicle and try to explain complicated issue, I tend to question him until I understand the simple logic on that. I know sometimes we might feel if I keep on questioning them, that person might feel we don't know anything. I can say I don't know anything. I am not ashamed to say, oh, we don't know a lot of the things. So until we are clear, until we are getting clear, we should ask the questions to clarify ourselves until break into the very simple level. Why I'm telling this? I strongly believe in our mindset, if we pass mixed signal to our mind also pass mixed signals to us. So therefore, we need to pass very clear signals to our mind that help us to use our brain fullest capacity. What I do is, most of the times when I hear a complicated story, complicated issue, I break it to the simplest possible way and try to understand simple logic behind that complicated issue, like ABC level, and send that message to my mind to see what kind of solutions we can come up. I strongly believe this statement. Don't let mixed signals fool you. Being the professional, we should give right signal to our mind. Then mind also will give right signal to us. So this is other point. Take charge of your schedule. I'm pretty sure everyone here might maintain to-do list. I also have the to-do list, but way in which I handle is different. To-do list is the one we collate and list down the things we wanted to do. Most of the times what is happening is that other people's instruction coming into our sheet as a to-do list. Rather, we decide and strategize our to-do list. What I do is, I take charge of my to-do list, and whatever happens, I keep free space to think. I don't allow to fill my to-do list with full of meetings or full of activities decided by others, because I strongly believe, being the senior manager of the organization, I have a responsibility to think and discharge my duty strategically than going behind the to-do list. Point to you is that in your to-do list, if you don't have the free time to think, always create it. Use that time to think. Use that time to strategically add value in your job or out of the job. That's one of the things I do, because if you don't program yourself, life will program you. Always remember that. This is the other thing. Enjoy and live your life. So when I post this one, sometimes you might feel, I also play the cricket, I listen to the music. Yes, we do those things. In here, I mean is that when we do our job, we need to find an angle which motivates us or drive us. Every job, there is an angle that we can find to enjoy or elevate us. Responsibility of find that angle lies within. You know, when we engage with something we are happy, we tend to give our fullest effort, fullest capability. When we engage something without much like, we don't give our fullest capacity or fullest passion. So I tend to find an angle in my working area which motivate myself to give my fullest capacity. So advice to you is that in your respective area, try to find some angle which motivates you, drives you, passionate you, which help you to give your fullest capacity in your respective area. Remember, life is very short. You need to be happy, stay positive, whatever things you do. This is the other thing. This is very important point I'm trying to touch. Build your team. This is not a secret. I am telling all the public forum, my deputy is better than myself. I don't fear to tell. I don't see him as a challenge. Why? Because sometimes, in generally, we feel if our deputy or team members are better than yourself, your job is at a risk. That is me. So, if you have a deputy, he is better than yourself, that's you can move up in your ladder. Remember, your team defines your face. You cannot be a great leader without having great team. So always have the team members full of talents and try to find your deputies better than you. That helps you to discharge your duty more strategically than anybody else. Okay, so now we have discussed few things. I think last point we need to recap again. Last point we need to recap again. What needs to be done to reach to your true potential? First one, we should know our business. Remember, when we try to understand the business, there is never ending. So I engage audit for 3.5 years. This is my roughly around 10th year in mercantile sector. Throughout the time, mercantile sector, throughout the time I was at the life insurance industry. So during my audit time, 3.5 years, most of the times I did my insurance audit. So still I believe I don't know anything about insurance. If you know business very well, it's not about your financial angle. You should know sales angle, you should know operation angle, and you should know general management, both in and out. That helps you to discharge your duty and take your decisions strategically by keeping the mind that how that impact to respective stakeholders. Second thing we have discussed, think simple way and try to understand the things simple way and give the simple message to your mind. And don't feel that that is not good to ask the question to understand the things in simple way. So what I practice is that a lot of time I ask questions and try to clarify things more simple way, because I believe I need to give very simple, clear message to my mind. Third thing we have discussed, take control of your schedule. In that schedule, don't let others to take in charge of your schedule. You need to take charge of your schedule and always have a space to think. Being the humans, being the professionals, you should have the space to think. That's where you have this capacity to create value, to elevate yourself to next level. Fourth one, we discuss enjoy yourself. This is not referring to sports or any hobby activity. It's all about finding angle that motivate yourself. Always don't think that you are having boring job. Every job, there is an angle that motivates you. There is an angle that creates passion within yourself. Try to find that angle that helps you to give your fullest capacity to your respective organization. Build your team. Don't fear to build your team. Have the great people in your team. Always try to find the people better than you. having team better than you is not a risk. So life is all about belief, I believe. This is nice. We believe God, so we pray our God. We believe Santa, he will come to our home. We believe history by reading the books. We believe stories told by others. Remember, no one believes you unless you believe yourself. So, your story far from done, the best is yet to come. With that note, I'm pretty sure you can be value partners in progress, not reporters in progress. Thank you, everyone. Niroshi, over to you.
Well, we are getting a few questions from our audience, sir. I would like to, yes, we'll start with this question. What do you think about the challenges that CFOs are facing in these days, considering both local and international business environments?
That is a very good question. So, I see this as a greatest opportunity we got. Now, in my presentation, I touch upon being the CA, we can see 360 way of the business. So, when businesses are getting challenges, that's where we can come to the party. So, if we know our business model very well, if you know our industry very well, I have no question about our professional qualification and the foundation we have. That's where we need to come forward and tell our corporates, this is the way we need to do to overcome from this situation. So I see this is the greatest opportunity we have. That's where we can capitalize this opportunity to show true color of chartered accountant. Because when I think you know that when business are not doing really well, everybody come and listen to the finance. When business are doing well, they listen to the sales. So now we got their opportunity to show them value of the chartered accountants, where how much value we can create by looking at 360 of the view. So yes, country is going through challenging time. This is the time we can rationalize our business models. This is the time we can create greater value and show the board of directors and management what is the value we can bring to the table being the chartered accountants. That's how I see this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. We have another question. What do you believe the most important quality and skills that shall have by chartered accountants in order to be CFOs and CVOs in future?
Most important quality. We have to be honest. That's the quality I believe. We have to be honest to tell if we don't know something, we don't know. We have to be honest to build ourselves. We have to be honest in whatever the things we do. We have to be honest to tell the truth. So I believe most important quality I would say is honesty.
Great. So would you like to advise on how to earn the trust of team members, subordinates, and other colleagues?
Okay, that's a very good question again. So, earn the trust. Simply, first, you need to have the performance-driven culture. So, everyone needs to treat equally, and we need to respect each and everyone and show them we value performance, we value each and everyone, and we protect each and everyone. Protect means when team does mistake, being the leader, we should accept our being the leader, behalf of the team, leader needs to take the responsibility. But when it's come to the team meeting, we need to very clearly tell the team what is the mistake they have done, and we should help them to correct it. It's not about passing the ball and blame them in front of everyone. Not about just giving up the things. I think if we do those things, and the other critical point we need to do is we need to give big vision to your team and align your team to drive that vision. So then team rally around you because themselves feel they are going through lovely journey, themselves motivate, themselves think about. So I think those are things we need to do to earn the trust and build the team.
Thank you very much for that detailed answer, sir. There is another question for you. So what are the skills that required to be developed by chartered accountants to add value to their businesses? Especially special skills. Yeah.
So I gave you the formula. I think formula is all about we should know your business very well. Because it's chartered accountants mean I mentioned that you have gone through very rigorous series of exams. You have gone through very structured training program over 3 to 4 years. So that's mean you are full of capacity. It's all about how you need to apply that capacity in the practical terms so that you should know your business very well, value creation, value drivers, customer value propositions. Most important thing is, I would say that you should know ground level realities in your business. Most of the times I see that way in which what is happening in the Excel spreadsheets versus in the reality is two different things. We should understand how things are practically happening sales angle. So when we talk with the salesperson, we need to understand, we should be able to understand what they think from their language. So that helps us to take the decisions by keeping minds of their logical way, logical angle. So I think those are the things we need to master.
Well noted. So there's another question. What is your advice for young chartered accountants in this, especially during this economic situation in the country? What are the opportunities available in Sri Lanka for them?
Okay. Young chartered accountants, I believe, I don't see young or senior, doesn't matter. So everyone is equal, everyone going through very rigorous exams and training. This is the greatest opportunity you guys are having to display your greatest value to your respective organizations. And I mentioned that when things are not happening well, people tend to listen to the finance. It's a time that young chartered accountants can come forward in your respective organization, show the organization what is the capability you are having. Then senior management will recognize you. So you might feel that, okay, you might not have that authority. Remember, designations are only designations. If you can discharge, if you can display, you are suitable for next level, organization automatically recognize you. Where everyone now listen to the finance at this crisis level. Capitalize this opportunity that will help you to climb the ladder faster than you thought. So simple mantra I apply in my time is that when I became assistant manager, I thought I'm a manager. When I become a manager, I thought I'm a senior manager. When I become a senior manager, I thought I'm a CFO. When I'm the CFO, I think like a CEO. You might wonder what will be the CEO. CEO needs to think like entrepreneur. Always from our mind, we should be prepared to think like next person. Then automatically we tend to discharge our duty like our next person, which helps you guys to easily recognize in the senior management team, okay, this fellow is suited for this person. So that's, I think for young chartered accountant, simple advice is that rather than think about all over the place, capitalize this opportunity, focus in your respective area to show your real value. So I think you can accelerate your professional journey faster than you thought.
Thank you for that great advice, sir. Another question for you. Do you believe that CFO should be an excellent business partner rather being a typical accountant role?
Exactly. So I think CFO has to be business partner. I don't think if somebody is not a business partner, that person is not suitable to be a CFO. That's how I believe. So typical traditional partner, typical traditional accountant job, I would say that he or she can add value very limited way. Business partner means you are partnering in the business value creation process. So not only the finance, he will be giving the insight, he or she will be giving the insight in every angle of the business. So everyone feel, okay, this person can create a greater value in every area of the organization. So obviously, you can be success in every organization if you have a business partner. I don't think that if you are not a business partner, he or she is not suitable to become CFO.
Thank you. How we can face to the management pressure and to overcome their undue influences?
That is a very good question. So first we need to understand why these undue influences are coming. That could be happen due to misunderstanding of the things. That could be happen due to lack of understanding the things. We never know. So first we need to clarify why this is coming and why they are influencing you like that. So if you understand that why part, I would say 80% of your problem you can resolve easily. So if they feel that lack of understanding things might create that undue influence, that's where being the professional, you should be able to explain in such a way they will understand this one properly. Why we try to do the things for betterment of the organization, betterment of the senior management, rather than we try to tell the things which are harmful to them. So I think we need to very clearly establish the purpose of why we are doing this. If you can understand the real reason behind undue influence, if we can give the solution for that, plus if you are acting something which is right purpose, I would say we can manage the undue influences good 80 to 90%. So after doing those two, if you are unable to manage and if you are acting purposefully, without taking any personal advantage, if they don't understand after doing everything, I think that's fall into 10%. That needs to take account to the ethics of our what we learn. So we need to follow ethics process.
Thank you. Is there any specific strategy that a CA can get to convene some difficult matters to board of directors practically?
Can you repeat it again, Kaveja?
Yeah. Is there any specific strategy that a CA can get to convene some difficult matters to the board of directors practically?
Okay, very good question. So if you analyze most of the corporate board of directors, I think the majority are non-executive or independent directors. Executive directors composition is very less. Where CA is having the advantage, I mentioned that CA can see the business in 360 angle. So if you can see the business 360 angle, so where you are better, you are positioning better way to explain something with practical example to anyone in the board by giving simple way. I would say where board of directors sometimes they are little bit away from business management time because they are not fully engaged with the business. Since they are not fully engaged with the business, being the CA, you can see 360 of the business. Being the CA, if you know business model very well, being the CA, if you know how the value creation happens, that's why you can bring your practical exposure, practical expertise to show them real impact of the decision with the practical example. Where definitely if we can show them with the examples more practically with our expertise, they will accept because they want to see right thing, not the thing that they wanted to see. So being the board of directors, they are experts, so they will catch up that point very fast than anybody else.
Thank you, sir. There is another question for you. Nowadays, young chartered accountants are moving to new roles and aspects like ERP, RPA. Appreciate if you could give your views on that fact.
So this is very good. So RPA, big data. I would say those are part of our CFO finance role. And those are not a new things, right? So now if we data scientists and data innovation, big data, RPA, so everything now IT people involved. Where being the CFOs or finance professionals, what we can do is that if we know how our business drives, what kind of contribution needs from data analytics perspective. So we have the role to explain them in business angle and get their support. So that's where we can create more value in your business. Most of the times, data scientist team struggle because they don't see the 360 of the business, 360 view of the business. So they don't know how to read the business in each and every angle of the business. So where finance professional, since we know 360 view of the business very well and we know how the value creation happens, we should get strategically their input to take our business to next level. So where value creation happen when we marry both these angles nicely, then we can create nice, unique things in our business. So, move into big data or data scientist, that is not a new thing. We should know what kind of value we can derive from using those, and using our business angle, what are the areas we wanted to apply those. We should tell that one to our data scientist or data management team, data analytics team, and get their support strategically and implement business strategy to take our business to next level. So I think that kind of role we need to play as a chartered accountants, where we can create greater business value in our respective organization.
Thank you for that detailed answer, sir. There is another question. How to be positive? How to stay with a positive mindset in challenging environment?
That is very good question. So I think positive mindset in the challenging environment. First point, don't go by what is you hear. I'm the person normally don't watch news, rarely watch TV other than sports program. So always we should have a discipline of hear what we want to hear. So sometimes it's in Sri Lanka, what I feel is that media and everyone sell what they can sell, not the things we wanted to sell. So being the professional, we are different from ordinary person, where we should decide what we want to hear. If we hear something not relevant, we should just ignore rather than thinking about that. To be positive, one of the golden rule I follow is that we should have a discipline of hear things what we wanted to hear. Second point is what I do is that we should have the better clarity what we wanted to do. Clarity first. What we want to achieve, whatever the situation that country is having. So, if we have better clarity of what we wanted to achieve, always we need to work towards to achieve that. When we work towards achieving that, doesn't matter country is having difficult time or turbulent time. So, because we have things to do, we have to focus on activities we wanted to do. So I think those are the two things normally I follow. Third thing is that I mentioned that to stay positive, if we take the working day, roughly 8 to 9 hours we work. And sometimes we travel good 1 or 1.5 hours. So if somebody is working 8 hours, so traveling 1.5 hours, 9.5 hours go out of 12 to 13 hours in the daytime. So that means out of the daytime, good 80% we spend either in office, either in the road. So to stay positive, we have to be so positive in working time. So I mentioned in my presentation that every job scope, we should be able to find something interesting. That could be within your job, that could be outside your job, that could be something you engage with your industry or something like that. Because if you don't find anger which motivates you, out of the daytime, good 80%, you are not motivated. So, advice from my angle is that you need to find an angle which motivates you during your working hours. Believe me, every job, there is an angle you can find to motivate yourself. It's all about you need to have the willingness, you need to have the dedications to find that angle which motivates you. If you do those three, just recall it. First point is that you need to hear what you wanted to hear. Second point is that you need to have the better clarity of what you need to achieve and you need to work towards that. Third point is that it's all about find the angle which motivates you during working hours. If you do those three, irrespective of what is happening in your environment, you can maintain your positive attitude.
Thank you. We are getting more questions, but we will be winding up the session in another few minutes' time. So you have another question. What are the best strategies to adapt to the new job roles in a new company?
What are the best strategies?
What are the best strategies to adopt when you are looking for a new job role in a new company?
Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, my answer is like this. When we try to find a job in new company, so first you need to decide what you wanted to achieve next 5 to 10 years. After you decide what you wanted to achieve next to 5 to 10 years, you should find an angle which passionate about yourself. I think sometimes we feel it's all about not the company. It's not about designation. It's all about role motivates us. Always think about what you wanted to do. So designation doesn't matter. I think I still remember when I got the job opportunity of, I think, previous company, that is Union Assurance, after the KPMG. First question I asked from the CFO, what I am supposed to do. Believe me, that job scope motivate me rather financial benefit. So always think about what you wanted to do, job scope. So then search an industry which you feel you can achieve your overall goal. And as I mentioned that you should be able to master what you basically business understanding. And if we have the, you need to prioritize what kind of business segments or industries you are having better understanding. After prioritizing that, search the job opportunities in that respective areas rather than you go behind everything. Because I am telling you, after finding a job, if we can't add value beyond their things, you will stuck in the same place long time. And if we prioritize areas you know better way, mean the industry perspective, that's where you will have the better probability of getting the job also. Because at the interview, you can showcase what is the value you can add value to respect to organization, because you have better place to explain that thing, because you have better understanding about business. So it's all about, I don't know, I used to do my SWOT analysis to my personal and professional life. So if now I see that 197 people log in here. If you didn't do your SWOT analysis to your life, do it and find out what are the biggest strengths you are having. One of the things I do is that identify biggest opportunities, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities. I work out that one. So you also need to honestly do your SWOT analysis to find out what are the key strengths you are having. Based on that, you need to find what are the opportunities in the respective industries. You need to focus on those areas rather than going behind the job opportunities in all spectrum industries. I think that will help you to increase your probability of success in finding the right job.
Thank you for that great tip. How can a CA be a pillar of success to an organization? How does the CBO's role differentiate from the traditional role of CFO?
I think that whole presentation is like that. So I explained. Traditional CFO's role now changed to the value creator role. However, traditional CFO's role help us to discharge value creator role better. So whole presentation about I explained being the traditional CFO, accountant, but traditionally what we used to do and what we are supposed to do and how to reach to our true potential using 5 things we are supposed to do. It's all about now we are living in the era of being the partner of progress. No longer we belong to the reporters of progress. I think we have to be partner of the progress of the company, rather reporters of the progress, that we are no longer belongs to the world that we can explain the things what has happened. It's all about how to partner in the business to create the better value using our greater capacity of utilization of greater foundation we receive from the CA.
Thank you. Well, we are getting more questions. What tactics can be used to convince a CEO who restrict with one policy?
Can you repeat it again, Commissioner?
What tactics can be used to convince a CEO who restrict with one policy? It means who restrict you doing something. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, this is I understood. That means you are restricted to only one area, right? So that restriction might be compulsory area, but voluntarily you can engage with lot of things. My advice you is that, so outside your job area, voluntarily get engaged with some other activities. And if we continuously engage with something outside your job, if we can implement your ideas, show the results to your CEO or CFO, so then they will recognize you, because that I mentioned that always think like your next level designation and try to discharge your next level designation responsibility. That helps you to highlight yourself to your respective superiors. You are suitable for that. Sometimes CEOs or CFOs might think if you are given wide area, you might struggle. That could be the reason that he or she restrict yourself. It's all about, if you know your capacity, you can voluntarily engage with something and show them the result. I think every CEO, every CFO wants to see greater value, and if someone can create a better things, I think they will definitely recognize that. So it's all about, don't expect that somebody come and give you the wider scope. That never happens. You need to take the first step. You need to show them, okay, what you can do being the finance professional.
Okay, so the last question for the day. So what is your recommendation for our chartered accountants?
recommendation is that I think in my presentation I touched upon. First, don't underestimate yourself. What I see is that sometimes some of the chartered accountants, they settle for less. I'm not referring to financial benefits. I'm referring to what they can achieve and what they settle. So it's chartered accountant, become a chartered accountant is not easy. I know personally. I know how hard our students work. So after going through very tough exams, after going through very systematic training exposure, your capacity is immense. Don't underestimate, don't try to be par with somebody who has not gone through charter, because you are not okay to par with someone who has not gone through charter, because your capacity is huge. My advice is that believe yourself, always think you can reach to the higher sky and work towards that, and set a very stretched targets and work towards that, because you have the capacity. Biggest issue I see some of the people is that they don't have capacity. I'm pretty sure being the chartered accountant, you have the capacity. Biggest stick is stick. So when you have the capacity, set a stretch target and work towards that target. That is my only advice to you, because you are not deserved to be settled less. Your sky is the limit.
Well, with that, we will be winding up the session for today. Well, it was indeed a very interesting session with full of inspiration and positive thoughts. A big thank you for Mr. Nuwan Witanage, the Chief Financial Officer of SoftLogic Life Insurance PLC, for joining us today to share your success story and life experience with our CA members. Hope all of you enjoyed this session and got remarkable and valuable tips to be successful professionals who can add value to your working organizations. Thank you, sir, for answering all the questions raised by our audience. Thank you, Mr. Witanage, once again. A big thank you for all the participants joining us on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka and on behalf of the CPD committee. See you soon with the next interesting and stimulating webinar of this series, the role of the CA as a Chief Value Officer. Thank you, everyone. Good night.